Hello, everyone. Welcome to 915 Times. Talk a little bit about everything, what's going on in the world. As you can tell, we're still under construction for our studio. It's slowly come together. Just still got some more not equipment, but material that needs to come in so we can finish building the stage, our desk. We have the microphones, we have the equipment. It's just slow work in progress because we're doing so many other things. Like I'm going to school full time, and I get him working as a salesperson for our print shop, and him as well.
And then
And he's doing editing.
the editing, which is taking a long
So
time because I don't want to get any copyrights or anything.
eventually, all of our podcast videos will be edited. Um, but yeah, what's going on with y'all? What's going on in the world? I guess Israel's bombing the shit out of Iran.
Oh, or in Pakistan,
Is
just bombing the shit out of India too.
What, Pakistan's blowing up India?
That's why I said
How did they stop that?
that's why that's World War III is going to start from there apparently.
Wow.
yeah, I think is the last few years Israel's kind of bungled the issue with Palestine, right?
Yeah.
From
I mean,
from what we've heard of what's
they
been
genocided their whole fucking their whole people like a while back, didn't they? And Israel,
Hamas?
they fucking went on a full genocide to fucking get
Well,
Palestine back.
October 7th, they killed all them people.
Yeah, and then freaking
Mhm.
and then that's why freaking Hazar or whatever freaking decided to go after and genocide Israel back, but then Israel can't even take it. Like,
Mhm.
you did it to us, why can't we do it to you? Yeah.
But what I was saying was that they had the popular support early on. They should have kept the initiative with that because Hamas bombed in like 14 hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
3 schools, a bunch of government buildings. Sure, the government buildings are considered,
Not only that,
actual
but the
viable
ambush at the
targets.
freaking music festival that they had in Israel that started off, killing the innocent people, holding hostage and
I wonder
everything.
what's going on with Ukraine and Russia.
Well,
Not a
freaking.
lot.
Well, I mean, they're deciding to go against Ukraine now, so
Who
freaking
is?
fucking Trump wants to side with Putin and go against Ukraine.
Oh,
Maybe,
he's on Russia's side?
maybe, yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. I was like, oh, we were expecting
What
that to
else has
happen.
been going on in the news?
Uh, EU is urging Germany to rearm.
Really?
Yeah.
They're actually urging them to rearm, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yes. The
That's
EU has
crazy.
overall been urging Germany to rearm because they are the closest thing that the EU ever had to a military superpower. Now, sure, World War II was terrible. Nobody's ever going to forget the things they did,
No,
or likely ever forgive.
I know.
But it's important to note that during that, uh, if it wasn't for America stepping in, the EU would all be called Germany, and they'd all be speaking German.
Or Spanish. Because the Mennonites were knew fluent Spanish and fluent German when I
I
worked
guess
with
so.
them. So not only that, but
Where are you looking at?
as of 4 hours ago, again, Israel strikes Iran's Isfahan nuclear site buildings on fire in Tel Aviv. That's what was against world news.
Israel strikes Iran's Isfahan nuclear site and buildings on fire in Tel Aviv. Oh my god.
And then yeah. And then Iran's supreme leader picks three stooges to replace him as a fear of fucking
Yeah, what now?
freaking if he's the Iran's supreme leader is in fear of assassination.
As for assassination, that's more like his own paranoia, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mossad's from what has been released statements from Israel in years past, they have they have basically like at times had him completely surrounded to get him to back off of stuff and then pulled agents out.
Trump said he knew where he was at.
Yeah.
What y'all think of that Trump parade? Oh, I didn't think it was too bad.
Uh
It It was less dictatorship than I thought it was gonna be.
It's because we have a. This is gonna sound real conspiracy theory, but the national news is owned by like two corporations, none of which like Donald Trump. They're never gonna be allowed to say anything nice about him.
And then fucking they're
He
trying,
could end world hunger.
Hong Kong teachers are fucking trying to avoid U.S. events.
Hong Kong teachers allegedly told to avoid U.S. Independence Day events.
Fuck.
Wonder what that's about.
Right.
Well, Hong Kong might officially belong to China. It is still a free trade zone, so there's a lot of multinational stuff that goes on there.
So they can't participate in the 4th of July because of fear of attacks. Wonder what Iran's going to try to do.
It's
I can't remember who wrote it, but there was a book that came out many years ago, and it was about what happened if Iran was to nuke Florida and like parts of the Middle East.
Here comes the sun, na 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 na. Here comes the sun.
When it's 9 o'clock at
na,
night and
na,
then you
na.
see the sun.
Is that movie?
No, it's what's gonna happen to him.
Oh God!
Basically, I'm pretty sure that song. They have Vietnam flashbacks from that song. You know, in Hiroshima.
Oh God!
You know, and then at 9 o'clock p.m. You see the sun for 5 minutes.
Worse than Hiroshima.
Well, no, because it's gonna be a hydrogen bomb. I mean, hydrogen bomb.
It's like 10,000 times worse than Hiroshima, won't it?
I mean, but don't be no nuclear fallout. So that's
with the way our bombs have developed for doing stuff like that to them, we would be able to contain it so that fallout didn't spread more than 10 miles away.
Oh, that's good.
From
so the fallout will be concentrated and they'll be fucked.
No, they're not using any radiation. They're using hydrogen.
Oh, they're using hydrogen now?
Hydrogen bomb. That's what the Tsar bomb is.
What about that big bomb that Russia has, that Tsar bomb?
Yeah, the Tsar bomb.
The Tsar bomba?
Yeah.
And the book you're talking about is Nuclear Iran.
Oh, it's called Nuclear Iran?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check that book out, y'all. Nuclear Iran.
The Birth of Atomic State.
It was a good book, read.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read anything like it before.
You can read?
Yes, I can read. I am from Alabama. Not good with math, but I can read. Y'all want to sit up a little bit there, son?
They can see me.
Okay.
You want to look like a fucking, you want to be slouched and shit?
What?
Well, where's your table, your table etiquette, you know?
I don't know what he said. But...
Table etiquette, freaking table manners.
He said your table manners.
Just kidding. You are your own, you are what you want to be, so like I'm not one to.
He said you are what you eat.
No, I said what you want to be, asshole. Stop trying to put words in my mouth, and you get me in trouble.
Well, yeah, I like you in trouble.
Okay. But anyway, there is
interesting you want to talk about.
Pakistan wants to nominate Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, though.
Pakistan to nominate Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize. How do y'all feel about that? Donald Trump getting nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. When usually he's the biggest shit talker on the table.
The issue is that he talks shit in such a way that people are afraid he's actually going to do it.
So they back in their corner he's made for them, and they do what he says because he's probably going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if he only responded to things that got outrageous and egregious. Well, it's still there is a lie.
He's not going to tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you remember the Simpsons episode of him being assassinated. That those actually made up episodes. That wasn't true.
Really?
Yeah, they were made up episodes just to scare people, just create fake fear. That President Trump was going to get assassinated, but he's not.
But I wonder how real those Simpson episodes are.
I mean, they predicted 9/11 back in like a couple months before it happened.
I think 9/11 was staged.
No, they're doing another 9/11. That was just their test run.
A test run?
Yeah.
Not
What do you think? What do you think they're gonna do next? A lot
Well, they
worse.
can't do alien invasion because we have everyone just on their phone, so they're gonna try to do something a lot worse.
Like a false flag,
Yeah,
nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
probably. We'll
well,
probably see
okay.
the sun.
To be fair, 9/11 was originally supposed to be insurance fraud on like a Saturday.
Well, not only that, but also so we can take get the better oil prices from Afghanistan and shit. That's all I
No,
want to do.
Iraq. Because
Iraq.
Afghanistan has lithium.
Oh,
Yeah, Afghanistan's where we get all our lithium mined from.
The biggest lithium mines in the world is in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Which,
Also, heron trade.
all the hair. Oh yeah,
I
the
said,
poppy seeds.
I about said Harion. What the freak?
I'm freaking talking about wheat strains. Jack
Man, they
Jack
got the
Heron.
biggest poppy fields in the world.
Yeah, freaking
Afghanistan's also.
I think
all the opiates
Afghanistan
and
had a
shit.
lot to do with drug trade and lithium.
Well, not only that, but like China was the one supplying Mexico with fentanyl.
I
So,
think we're the biggest weapons and drug dealers in the world.
well, I mean,
The,
we had the water
the only time
scandal.
America cares about the metric system, bullets and drugs.
Or the only time they use the metric system is in schools, 9mm.
It's touched upon briefly, but come on.
But they
Just kidding, guys.
They use it to fund their proxy wars.
Mhm.
The CIA proxy wars.
I mean, not only that, but like the Watergate scandal, where they fucking they go and basically sell the drugs to the cartel, and then they come and mule it back.
That's
and
what the Watergate scandal was
yeah,
about.
they come and bring it back, mule it back over here, and then they arrest him and sell it back to him again.
That's crazy.
The CIA people doing all that
That
shit.
sounds like
I don't know if that's some Watergate scandal.
that sounds like some Nixon shit right there.
No, that was
the
Kennedy shit.
Watergate scandal was dealing with some voter fraud and corporate espionage as ordered by Nixon regarding the upcoming election
Okay, yeah.
at the time.
You probably could have done something with drugs too.
But I mean, the CIA was the one that did most of the drugs,
That definitely sounds like something that like should have been a scandal that was going on that was covered up. But the Watergate scandal itself, which was a very well researched event, and because at the time the America had a huge transparency policy going on, because we'd also partially just dealt with in the last 10 years before that happened, dealt with the assassination of Kennedy.
You know that was created or had to be created
Well,
to cover up something.
as it was during.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Watergate scandal was definitely
Oswald wasn't the one who
publicized.
killed JFK though. But I mean, basically they said that the driver was the one that assassinated him. His own driver, because they had to use
Either the government or the CIA
because
or
CIA is
the
still
mafia. I think it had to do a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, it's all basically like so basically the elites.
People definitely put out a hit on the president.
Yeah.
And then
well, only because he was
definitely paid to keep
or
it
because he was
covered.
just gonna uncover and disclose a lot of fucking things that weren't supposed to be disclosed.
Have y'all ever seen that book or this TV show about what was the thing that killed Kennedy, or they think that killed Kennedy?
Oswald?
Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, have you seen the book 1969 or 1968 or something like that by what's his name?
It sounds familiar.
Who's the guy that writes all the creepy books?
King?
Stephen King?
It was a Stephen King book, and there's a portal in the dining hall, and he would go through the portal, and it would send him back to 1950, and then he was following, what was his name again? Lee Harvey Oswald. Following Lee Harvey Oswald, trying to see if he killed the president, and then I think he had cancer for going through the portal too many times or something like that. And his buddy that he knew that really didn't have a life going for him, it was like a lot of bad stuff was going on for him. He was like, go to the portal. He's like, here's all the bets.
It wasn't 1968. It was 1963.
It's called 1963.
Yeah, 11/22/63.
It's 11/22/1963. That's a good book to read and a good show to watch. Please go watch it.
JFK, Slain, and
so he goes to the portal and he bets and he makes a bunch of money so he can live, gets a car, and he's like whatever recording is at the time in the 50s and 60s. He's living right next to him, under him, above him, or next to him, and he has like recording equipment all set up in the house, and he's recording everything. And Lee Harvey Oswald says he's also really good friends with a big Russian guy that has a lot of connections back in the West. And at one point, he stops Lee Harvey Oswald from killing the president, and then it shows a world where people are like half eaten by radiation. Kennedy, like because of Kennedy, the Cuban Missile Crisis went crazy, and like 4 places in the U.S. got nuked, and then there's cars running around like on these like hover cars, and Kennedy's still the president.
Oh. Well, I mean,
I have,
Like he's supreme leader.
the one book I want to read is about Barron Trump and
which is
Tyler.
which is weird because a lot of what Kennedy was trying to do at the time, at least supposedly, was for one, at the time, if you'd note, towards the end of Kennedy's presidency, a lot of the dollar bills that were printed, if you'll note now, regular dollar bill says is a Federal Reserve note.
Mm.
Towards the end of the Kennedy administration, they were U.S. Treasury notes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Our money stopped being controlled by a private bank.
And plus, at the time, back before the Great Depression and everything happened, then you can trade in money for gold, or you know.
Yeah, back when
it had value. You know, now it has no value.
Back when America was on a metallurgic standard, we chose the gold standard. A couple countries used a silver standard.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper, y'all.
You got my other one?
Yeah.
I guess mine's for mine.
No, but the one book I do want to read about is Barron Trump and the time traveling thing. Because you know how he.
No, they made a book about that.
Yeah, but it's based in 1909 or 1900s. Yeah, and Barron Trump is Donald Trump's son.
Barron Trump time traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that thing where they all think he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, the Vatican does have a time travel device.
What was it? Trump inherited all of or bought all of Tesla's notes and stuff.
Yeah. That's why.
He bought it at auction. That's what it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Mar-a-Lago probably has free energy. Can I get something? Probably has free energy and probably does have a time travel machine.
Well, I mean, the Vatican has a time travel machine, but if you were to make a time travel machine and it would be facing, and you make one in the future, it would only let you come back to the time that you made the first time travel machine.
Really?
Yeah, you can't go back further. That's because there's no way of you getting back. And then plus the butterfly effect would be a problem. So
what's the other thing called? Mandela effect.
Yeah, the Mandela effect. That just happens because we're in a matrix in the simulation. Shit.
The Mandela effect is a
weird freaking
is both a weird phenomenon and entirely explainable without using time travel. It's that companies and corporations are rewriting things that have happened.
Not only that,
to better fit their own ideas.
Now they want to say that everything that they taught us in school about history is a lie. So none of that ever happened. You know?
I hate how they say the Earth's only 6,000 years old. I don't believe that for one bit.
Well, I mean,
that's the legend.
6,000 because the dinosaurs were here 6 million years ago. So.
100 million years ago.
Before Christ.
Yeah.
We know Earth as it is now.
I think it's a lot bigger than what they portray.
As a planet is actually one of the youngest in our solar system because of part of how we formed and how our moon formed.
Well, actually, the moon just came out of nowhere. It just showed up in the sky.
Yeah, have you not seen that
you ever seen that video? They said they just showed up out of the sky because they're on the moon.
Writings from the Egyptian, Aztec, Inca, and like a couple other walls right around the world. And they see the moon show up like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, it just showed up out of nowhere. Like
they're
saying it's a satellite. Basically.
They're saying the moon just showed up one day and the night sky was lit.
It wasn't created off our planet because
That's highly unlikely, especially considering that we're dealing with peoples that we're very advanced at studying the stars through a naked eye. We're not able to actually travel to those places. And it is highly likely that, and we know about the moon's orbit. The moon's orbit's going to come back into us, and I think the next time it's supposed to, because of how the Earth and the moon work, we are falling in sync. So there are patterns where we cross, moon strikes the Earth, a same approximate sized ball bounces off as an asteroid for a few hundred years, comes back in. Right. But to be fair, and also 6,000 years ago, uh, there is an event you need to be aware of called the Great Bronze Age Collapse.
What's that?
It's where a lot of history gets really wonky.
Yeah, what basically like when the big
Almost like
reset,
where they say
like the big reset, right? Almost like that.
They say
Or
like 500 years was like not there or something like that.
Yeah, it's that missing like 500-year period because from what we were able to tell, people all over the world were at war with neighbors and whatnot. So a lot of old temples, like which was where we find most of the stuff we pick up is the old temples because for the most part, religious people were the only ones who knew how to write outside of nobility. That's something that didn't actually change until I want to say about the start of the 18th century, about 1700 or so, is when we finally got it being commonplace for peasants to know how to read at least a little bit.
Well, think about it. If you can't read, then you're dumb and you control the population.
Yeah, it's significantly easier to control the population when they can't read, when they can't find things for themselves.
Which is messed up, but
hey, to be fair, like, again, from the 8th century up until the 15th century, it was commonplace for if peasants got married, their local lord took their wife's first night.
because their wife's what?
First night.
Really?
It was a practice called prima nocta because they could.
not only that, but they also said that the moon landing was actually real because Hollywood wouldn't make something so boring.
Yeah, they also the person they approached it to make was Kubrick, and Kubrick's come out several times, and it's like to be able to fake the lighting conditions on the moon landing, it would take me so much effort. They should have just gone.
You think they didn't go?
Oh no, they definitely did.
Yeah.
But Kubrick has gone on. Kubrick went on record several times. It's like, no, to pay me enough to develop everything I would need to be able to fake a moon landing, it was cheaper for them to go.
Oh wow. Well, how do you feel about when they showed Neil Armstrong and they're like, put your hand on the Bible and said that you went to the moon? Why does he ignore that?
You know, if you get Armstrong like Neil A and you put it backward, it spells alien.
Egg?
Alien. Because N-E. His first name is spelled Neil.
Yeah, and then they put the A with the period
backwards.
Backwards is alien.
With his last initial, his name's Alien.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Please don't forget, in Harry Potter, Voldemort makes the most melodramatic teenage name possible using an anagram. In full name, Tom Marvolo Riddle, anagrams out to a sentence, I am Lord Voldemort. Come on.
That's weird. Well, I think that's about it for today, y'all.
Yeah. I'll probably have more tomorrow, so.
Well, we're probably going to do another podcast tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We have Tavo here.
Get something a bit longer.
Yeah.
A little bit longer.
Let's see what his thoughts are about everything.
We're just trying to get ourselves back into doing podcasts again.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the future, a little more professional. So,
yeah.
Hope you enjoyed what we talked about. And
if you have any
questions
or you want to tell us about what your theories are or what you think,
get in the comments.
Yep.
Like the video, subscribe, help us grow so we can keep doing this.
And if your friends like it too, tell them to subscribe because
it helps. If you have any ideas of things you want us to talk about, or you have any things you want to say to what we talked about, in the comments.
Not only that, but we're also doing orders for t-shirts too. Don't forget that.
Oh, we will be doing orders for t-shirts here soon. We're going to be coming out of the line of t-shirts. Bad humor, cringe, some Diddy stuff. and some other things. We're cashing in on that moment. So
No.
it's gonna be fun. We'll see y'all soon. 915 times. Have a good day.